5,000 vehicles by clicking on our ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai. Our next guest this morning is Matt Hart, the Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Matt, thanks for coming on.
Reed, great to be with you. It's a beautiful day in Christian County. Sorry I'm not there in person, but I'm on the road. But I'm actually looking at all the crops that are starting to pop up in Christian County after spring planting season. And yeah, it's a great time to be in Christian County. It's a great time for economic development in Christian County.
It sure is. And excuse me, yeah, a lot of developments coming up, and we will get to some of those. I actually want to start with the Taylorville High School Fine Arts Auditorium. They had some talk about that this week, and I'd love to hear your perspective on what that means for economic development in Christian County.
Yeah, this is a great project, and for anyone that's been in Taylorville for a while, I know this is long overdue, is to have a fine arts auditorium, a concert hall, if you will, that we really have lacked for a long time in Taylorville and in Christian County. And for many, many years, the old East Gym at the Taylorville High School was where we did plays and did some musical performances. But that really was a gymnasium, and we've never really had an auditorium. And so this is, there's so many impacts to this fine arts auditorium. There's obviously an impact to Taylorville High School. That's immediate. It's there, and it's something that will serve Taylorville High School very, very well. But also an auditorium like this has even more implications than just the high school, because this has implications for the total community, because you can do, there are other organizations who want to hold musical performances or want to hold something that you would hold in an auditorium that we've just never had in Taylorville and never had in Christian County. And so this will give Christian County really a new venue that can be used and utilized not only for the school but also for the community, and it has an impact in that regard. But even more than that, Reed, the auditorium like this, the Fine Arts Auditorium at Taylorville High School, has an impact on what we call the quality of living. And that's something that people are looking for when they're looking to expand their business. They're looking to grow their business or move their business to community. They ask questions like, what is the quality of life? What are the bike paths that they have? What are the arts and entertainment that they have? What are the restaurants that they have? What are the social events they have going on? This is part of economic development when you have a fine arts auditorium at your high school, as not only a place that you can have something like that, but just, again, those 11,000 vehicles a day that drive past Taylorville High School to see that auditorium sends a message as well that Taylorville and Christian County is a great place to live. We have great schools. It's a great place to grow your business, to move your business, and though that's the real economic impact that a project like this has. So it's something that again, it impacts the school, but it has far-reaching impacts beyond just the campus of Taylorville High School.
Yeah, and I was thinking earlier, and you kind of tied it in well with, like, the quality of life here and businesses moving here, and that, not only does it maybe like improve the quality of living in Christian County or in Taylorville where they're already based, but like if you talk about having like other performances come there, and then people go and attend the performances, and then, I don't know, maybe they eat out at one of the restaurants nearby. So I bet like the folks connected to the restaurants are probably licking their lips with this development. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, because this is, again, it's a place for people to come together, and it's a place for the community to come together, and it's also a place to draw other people to the community. When you can have large gatherings in a modern auditorium, which is what they're planning to build, it helps the community. It not only ties community together, but it has economic impact, not only for just what's going on right there at the auditorium, but again, it's when people come into town, they're buying gas. When they come into town, they're going to eat somewhere. When they're in town, they also go, well, let's run up to the Taylorville Square and look at the shops, or let's, visit one of the other retailers in Taylorville or Christian County. So things like an auditorium Again, I know the school's making a great investment in this, and it's been very well planned, and we know there's still some planning to go. But we're one step closer to having this auditorium, and don't forget too, Reed, that when this auditorium is being built, the workers who are building this auditorium, this will bring in many workers to construct this and so the entire time the construction is going on, well, again, those are people who are coming into Taylorville every day. They're buying gas, they're eating lunch, they're hitting our stores when they leave work. Even if they don't live in the community, but we also hope that a lot of those jobs are people living in the community. But again, those are construction jobs, and construction jobs are highly sought after today, and those are good paying jobs that can provide a living for a family.
No, I love it, and I can't wait to see how this thing looks. I know they're still kind of talking about the exterior design, then they'll get into the interior design. So exciting stuff to look forward to with the Taylorville High School Fine Arts Auditorium. I'm talking now with Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. And I was thinking just now, right, if folks from other towns, use the space for performances, they'll there's a good chance they'll probably be driving on some roads that either have seen construction begin or will soon. Route 29, Mount Auburn, among those that are involved, and it seems like there's been some progress there, and I'd love to hear an update on said progress.
Yeah, right now, so we're in the middle of a $50.6 billion multi-year program across the state. And of course, in Christian County, the Christian County Economic Development Corp, we're very tuned in on the projects going on in Christian County. And we have two projects that were slated for this year, and in fact, they're already under construction. One of those projects is the complete rebuild of Route 29 in Pana. Anyone who's traveled Route 29 in Pana the last few years knows that it's been a very, very rough road. Again, long overdue for not only an overlay but for a full rebuild of Route 29, and that's what's going on in Pana right now. And that stretches all the way from the city limits on the north side of Pana, so out there by their industrial park. As you come into town from Taylorville on Route 29, that's where you'll see the construction is started. And it's a full from Route 29 all the way through town that runs along the north side of Pana until it meets up with US 51. That entire stretch of Route 29 is being completely rebuilt. Again, this is not just an overlay. This is a complete rebuild. This includes new gutters, new sidewalks. It includes everything. It's a huge project. In fact, the project's going to go all the way into through the summer of 2027. It's going to take them well over a year to get this done. But those are improvements that not only make the community look better, but they're community that serves, the trucks that serve the community or go through the community. Trucks transport 95% of the manufactured freight in our state. And so we want to make sure that the places in our county where we've got truck traffic, that they have good roads to travel so they can safely get the goods to the citizens of Christian County. So that's project number one that is underway in the county. Project number two that's underway in Christian County right now is Mount Auburn Road. Mount Auburn Road, which runs north out of Taylorville to Mount Auburn, again, need of a facelift, and so that's what the Illinois Department of Transportation is doing right now with Mount Auburn Road. That project will take place entirely in 2026, so that will improve Mount Auburn Road again, not only for our commuters and families traveling north of Taylorville, but also for all of our farmers, all of our anybody transporting manufactured goods in trucks. But it'll make that a safer place as well to transport goods. So those are the two IDOT projects for 2026. But Reed, remember, we're in a multi-year program, and the multi-year program is a 6-year program. There's two other projects from the county in that program, including Route 29 through Taylorville, as well as Lincoln Trail in Taylorville. Those won't be done in 2026, but they will sometime in the upcoming years.
Okay, so we'll see how all of that turns out. Obviously, you need those roads to get that involved, for really a lot of purposes, including stuff that you've talked about before. You mentioned, correct me if I misheard this. You mentioned Mount Auburn. That project, you said it's gonna last just through 2026.
Correct. That's just an overlay, and that's already under construction. So they'll have that buttoned up here in the summer. But the project, the big project that a lot of people are asking about in Taylorville is Route 29 in Taylorville. We mentioned they're already rebuilding Route 29 in Pana.
Yeah.
The Taylorville is a much more complicated project. In fact, I talked with the Illinois Department of Transportation last week specifically about Route 29 through Taylorville. Because again, this is part of our job at the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, is to have relationships with the Illinois Department of Transportation and make sure they know how important these projects are to our businesses back home. And my communications with IDOT was, of course, I'm pressing them of, when are we going to do Route 29 in Taylorville? Is it going to be 2027? Is it going to be 2028? Is it going to be 2029? Of course, we're pushing for 2027. And where the Illinois Department of Transportation is today is they're still working on their multi-year program. They haven't announced anything yet for 2027. Of course, when they hear from us, they're going to hear us pushing for Taylorville in 2027. The indication they gave me is that Taylorville may break that up into 3 stages, Route 29 through Taylorville. But again, our hope is that we see at least the first, if not all of that, through all 3 stages of Route 29. We see that in 2027. And then in addition to Lincoln Trail, we know that's in the multi-year program. But, as soon as we get, once we get the Pana Route 29 project out and the Mount Auburn Road project out of the multi-year program, then we got to come back and go, okay, well, let's look at Route 104. Let's look at Route 48. We want to make sure we keep projects in that multi-year program in Christian County so that we continue to have IDOT invest those motor fuel tax dollars back here at home.
Yeah, so it sounds like more work you're trying to do to get that project moved up, and we'll see how that goes, and I can't wait for updates on that. I'm talking right now with Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Enterprise Zone, because it sounds like there's some expansion coming up there, and that's coming up right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawrence Yonke. Well, December corn today hit a new recent high. Yesterday, $4.99.5. Today, $4.99 3/4. And we backed off that since. July corn down 6, $4.71 3/4. September down 5 3/4, $4.77 1/4. December down 5 1/4, $4.92 1/2. July soybeans off a nickel, $11.92. August down 4 1/4, $11.85 1/2. November down 3, $11.68 1/4. July wheat down 16 1/2, $6.36 1/2. KC July down 13 3/4, $6.91. June lean hogs down 17, 103.57. June live cattle down to 67, 254.57. May feeders up 137, 372.87. RFD Radio Network.
Looking for a comfortable lifestyle in a small community? Rolling Meadows Senior Living in Taylorville is now accepting applications for residency. They offer seniors 62 and older a smoke-free facility with round-the-clock maintenance, controlled access, large kitchens with full-size appliances, on-site laundry, Wi-Fi in common areas, and located close to shopping and dining. Call 217-287-2450 to schedule an appointment. Rolling Meadows is sponsored by Lutheran Social Services of Illinois and funded through U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and Federal Home Bank of Chicago. Rolling Meadows is an equal housing opportunity provider.
Can't stop yawning? You need to call the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds. Celebrate Just Beds' 30th anniversary sale going on now. Save big on all Bemco mattresses, plus take an extra 10% off already reduced prices on Spring Air, Max Life, and Arctic Breeze. And here's the dream deal. Get a free adjustable base with all Copper Series mattresses. Better sleep is closer than you think, with free delivery, setup, and removal. Stop in Just Beds today and sleep like you mean it.
Just Beds.
The sun is shining, the days are getting longer, and pool season is almost here. Don't wait. Now's the time to call Southern Ledge Pools and Patios and get your pool ready for summer. Schedule your pool opening today. Spots are filling up fast. Need a sand change? They've got you covered. And bring in your water sample for free testing. Make a splash this season with the experts you trust. Southern Ledge Pools and Patios, 306 East Main Cross, Taylorville.
Finding a local job in Central Illinois has never been easier. Don't waste time driving far or spending too much on gas. Visit IllinoisJobPost.com. It's your one-stop site to find local, full-time, and part-time job openings. Best of all, it's completely free for job seekers to access anytime, day or night. So if you're ready to land a job close to home, make IllinoisJobPost.com your first stop. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. Brought to you by your friends at the regional radio stations.
WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM morning show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamite. And I continue my conversation with Matt Hart, the Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. I want to turn our attention now to the Enterprise Zone, because it sounds like it's expanding this year or coming up at least. And I'm interested to know what that looks like and in what direction we're headed.
Yeah, so the Christian County Economic Development Corporation is gearing up for another expansion of the Enterprise Zone in 2026. CCEDC has been successful in growing our enterprise zone to include not only Taylorville and Pana and Assumption, but in 2025, we added Stonington and we added Edinburgh. And what we're looking for in 2026 is now we want to go down Route 48 to the south, and we want to pick up Morrisonville. We want to pick up Palmer and even Harville. The county line goes all the way through Harville, but we've got some businesses in Christian County that want to be able to utilize the enterprise zone in those parts of the county as well. So what that entails is Christian County Economic Development Corporation has to work with our consultants and get resolutions drafted that we have to take to every level of government in the county to get that approved. But that whole process takes about 90 days. And CCEDC will be leading on that, and we've already been talking with local business leaders and local government leaders to do that. But again, the enterprise zone is so important because it can save a developer a lot of money, particularly on sales tax. And when you look at spending millions of dollars on building material, and if you can avoid paying sales tax on that, that keeps the money at home. I like to say, instead of sending sales tax money to Springfield, this is government's way of saying keep that sales tax money local and spend it and reinvest it locally. And that's what the enterprise zone does. And we're not talking, tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars at times that we can be saving businesses in our community. Again, that's money that stays home and helps businesses grow right here in Christian County.
And it sounds like, my interpretation of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, with the size of these communities and businesses, savings like what you described, tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, is that something that, makes the difference between like a business opening versus not opening, or like expanding into these areas versus going elsewhere? Is that kind of the scale of the difference here?
Absolutely. We use every tool we can use to not only help our existing businesses, but also attract the businesses that are not here yet. And we are competing. We're competing with other communities. We're competing with other states. And the more that we can offer to a business, the better positioned Christian County is to help that business stay here and grow, or attract that business that's not here yet. And the enterprise zone is one of those tools that we use to, again, help our existing businesses and attract new businesses here as well.
And you were talking about like talking with business leaders in that area. Again, smaller communities, so there's not a lot there currently, but it sounds like there could be more. Just overall, like how have those conversations been with those folks, as we have about a little over a minute to go?
Yeah, we've seen this read in Edinburgh. Edinburgh has had some great development on the south side of the town there along Route 29. When we moved the enterprise zone to Edinburgh, Sloan's had already started construction of their new 50,000 square foot facility there, which looks absolutely beautiful. But we were able to get it there at the end of that project, and we were still able to save them some money that, again, kept money back here in Christian County. But Midwest Meter, it really helped them and incentivized them to expand, and they've added about 10,000 square feet of space there as well. Those are the two white buildings that you'll see on the south side of Edinburgh as well. Again, it all works together, and it all only happens because of organizations like the Christian County Economic Development Corporation.
And there you go. Just about 20 seconds to go. Contact information.
Yeah. So again, you can always contact us. You can call us. You can text us. Our number is 217-565-2280. That's 217-565-2280. Go to our website, christiancountyedc.com, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, Matt Hart, for coming on.
My pleasure.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville.
96.1 FM Taylorville.
107.5 FM
Yeah,
Shelbyville. 107.9 FM